Hari Om. Bhajagovindam chanting verses 1 to 5.
भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति दुःकृन्करणे मूढजहि धनागमतृष्णां गुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णा यल्लभसे निजकर्मोपातं वित्तं तेन विनोदय चित्तम् नारीस्तनभरनाभिदेशं दृष्ट्वा मागामोहावेशम् एतन्मांसवसादिविकारं मनसि विचिन्तय वारं वारम् नलिनीदलगतजलमतितरलं दद्वज्जीवितमतिशयचपलम् विद्धि व्याध्यभिमानग्रस्तं लोकं शोकहतं च समस्तम् यावद्वित्तोपार्जनसक्तः तावन्निजपरिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करमावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। See, in the eyes of worldly wise person, spiritual wisdom will always appear wanting. You can have in life either spiritual wisdom or you can be worldly wise. You can't have both. The problem is most of us want to have both. In fact, what we want is worldly wisdom. If spiritual knowledge can help me to gain that worldly wisdom, I'm willing to gain this spiritual knowledge. If this worldly wisdom is not going to be enhanced through spiritual wisdom, that's why suddenly these days, a lot of people say that now there is a lot of demand for Vedanta. The spirituality, religion, and God, and this yoga, the meditation, and this, spiritual things and all have started gaining lot of relevance these days. All this is relevant only for what? Everyone gives you the belief that if you gain the spiritual knowledge, your efficiency will improve, your productivity will improve, you will be able to do your things better, you can live a happy life, you will be able to handle your problems better, you can find solutions to your problems, etc. That is all, worldly wisdom. This worldly wise person and his spiritual education will never go together. You can have either this or that. You can't have both. Both cannot be. When I say you can't have both, what I mean is you cannot be developing both simultaneously. As you keep growing, you have to lose your erstwhile age. When the child becomes a teenager, it has to lose the childhood to gain teenage. The teenager becomes a youth, then he has to lose the teenage to gain this. You can't have both. That doesn't mean something wrong with being worldly wise. Now immediately we take a stance, okay, sir, does it mean that you should not be, wise in the world? Of course you have to be. You can't afford to be stupid anywhere. It doesn't make any difference, whether it is the spiritual field or it is in the materialistic plane. Either case you cannot. But the problem is when you say that I have to gain the spiritual wisdom, spiritual knowledge, I have to grow spiritual. Don't expect that the spiritual wisdom will somehow help you to deal with your problems. It will never give. Having said that, you have to understand it is not that it will not solve your problems. It dissolves your problem. There is a difference between solving a problem and dissolving a problem. Spiritual wisdom will dissolve it. Worldly wisdom will find a solution. I have a problem, now give me a solution for that. That is worldly wise person. Spiritual wisdom will not give you that. Spiritual wisdom will dissolve the problem itself. It will make the problem disappear. Problem will not be there anymore. That's how the difference comes into picture. That is what Shankara is addressing. He says, if you have to choose, I have my limited time, limited resources, limited energy, everything is limited. Whatever we have is a limited time only. And whatever energy that you have is also very limited. But what you have to gain, where you have to travel, it's a long distance, says the Shastras. What I have to learn is, bhajagovindam says, I have to read a lot of things to cover. But I have only limited resources. Now then what you should do? It is like this. There are two places. In one place you dig, you get charcoal. Another place you dig, you get diamond. Now the choice is yours. You can dig only one hole. You can't have both the holes. Where you will start? Will you go for charcoal or will you go for diamond? This is all the quick question is. Shankara says it is better to dig the diamond instead of dig. That doesn't mean charcoal has no value. No, coal doesn't have any value at all. No, coal also has its own value. What coal can do, only coal can do. Diamond cannot do that. But in terms of value, if you take, diamond is far, far superior to coal, the charcoal. But essentially both are same. Charcoal and diamond are both are carbon only, isn't it? Similarly, knowledge is knowledge only. There is no difference in that. But still, spiritual knowledge, start seeking. Don't waste your time and energy on this worldly things. Now, in those days, Shankara was talking about a person learning Vyakarana. Today you can't say Vyakarana you are studying. Today what are you doing? Stardust. Today your engagement is what? Watching news channel. What is happening to Corona? As though every moment, every hour you are updating yourself. I know a lot of you doing that. Every day you are checking, isn't it? Update about Corona. Now what difference does it make to you actually speaking by the amount of time you spend on reading about Corona, amount of time you spend in terms of forwarding the messages about coronavirus. Corona. I'm not saying you should not get yourself updated. Now immediately people take, okay, you mean to say that you should not do any of those things. Go unlock yourself in the room. I would say yes, better, right? But still, that's not what is implied here. What you have to understand is this: whether you have a limited time in your hand. How you are going to be investing the time? Your energies are limited. Your faculty is limited. You have a limited application ability. Your intellect has a limited application capacity. Where you are going to apply and what you are going to do. Shankara says, invest it on seeking the higher. Don't invest it on the acquisition of the things of the worldly affairs. Therefore, he calls the person as a fool. Idiots, wasting your time. Now, fool, when he says, remember, Shankara is in a state of emergency. He experiences a sense of urgency. That is where you don't go for this parliamentary terms, social. See, imagine in the apartment there is a fire. Now, are you going to call the neighbor in the phone and tell him, excuse me, sir, are you free now to talk? How are you placed? Is it a good time to speak to you? Nothing of that sort. You don't even call that fellow. You go and don't even ring the bell. You start banging the door. And the fellow says, what? Why are you behaving like this? You are intruding into my privacy. And imagine if that person has opened the door and he is fast asleep. How do you go and wake him up? You're not going to say, stand there and say, excuse me, and all that. Go there and give a whack to hit that fellow and say, get up, man, let's rush out. Why? Because there is fire. Because there is emergency. There is urgency. People like Shankara, calling you a fool, idiot. It's not that, he is frustrated. He is angry. Many people take, or it's not that, he is uncultured. Why he is speaking such language is only showing the state of urgency. And we have the tendency to do what's postpone. And particularly, we have a fantastic tendency to postpone the higher. We are very, very good experts in postponement. Later, I have enough time. So first, let me cover this. First, let's finish all my things. So let the corona problem get solved first. Sir, Vedanta should be studied. You should learn Vedanta face to face. That is what Shravanam is. If you go to a master, sit under his feet and learn from him. That's how you are supposed to learn Vedanta. Now you are doing Zoom class and all that. You are sending me a link and asking me to attend the Zoom class. This is not the way to learn Vedanta. Right way of learning Vedanta is to go to a guru and sit under his feet and learn from him. That's why I want to learn. Therefore, what we have to do, let the lockdown release and see after that. After that, permanently I will be in your house only. There is no place here. First of all, I don't know whether I get enough space here. What? Very good in postpone. And every postponement that you make, you have excellent reasoning. Perfectly justifiable reasons is what you give. Not till date, I have not found a single person who comes and says to me that I have a stupid reason. But everyone asks a clarification or a question always starts like this. Maybe my question is stupid. It's a silly question I ask. Why the apple is falling is a silly question. Isn't it? Why? Because we find excellent excuses to postponement. It says, understand the urgency. How to make you aware of understanding the urgency? That's where he calls fools. Mudamati. Oh, fools. Seek the self, man. Seek the self. Because the test of wisdom. What is wisdom, sir? What is a test? A particular understanding you carry, whether it is valuable or not. What is the test of it, sir? The test of it is it should be useful at a particular time. That's why I like, the curse of Karna. I really like that of all the curses. In fact, every curse is very interesting in the Shastras, in the Puranas. The curse, I suppose all of you are aware, Parashurama cursed, Karna. Beautiful curse. Yes, because he goes, Karna goes to Parashurama to learn the, archery. Because Drona refused. First he went to Drona. Drona said, no, I am very busy. Admission's over. He said, filled up already. So there is no admission, no scope for this fellow. So they said, okay, I'll go to another university. If this college is not available, you go to another college. Like that, he came to this college, Drona College, Drona Institute of Archery. He came. They said, no admission. So he said, okay, I will go to Parashurama College of Archery. Now the problem is what he understood in the application form, you give an information. No. Same way, in those days, they had an application form. In that application form, we are supposed to give an answer. Now, this is what all of us think. Karna is very poor fellow. I say, what poor fellow? He goes and blatantly lies to his own guru. And then you call him, very, very, very good fellow. I don't know how. He goes and tells him, direct, it's not, you can't even call it as a white lie. In lies, there are two types of lies. Black lies and white lies. You can't say this is white lie also. Point blank, he goes and says, I am a Brahmana. Now, many people have this interpretation saying that Parashurama will not teach otherwise. For your information, Parashurama taught Bhishma also. Correct? Who is a guru for Bhishma? Parashurama. Parashurama had taught Drona. Parashurama had taught Bhishma. That is how Bhishma appointed Drona as a teacher. For why? Because he knows he is also from same school, Parashurama school. So my junior. Therefore, appointment order is given straight away. Same school means distinction from same university. Therefore, I know what sort of a training you would have gone through, how great he would be. Now, Bhishma, when Parashurama taught, we don't have the possibility to claim that Parashurama will teach only to Brahmins, not to Kshatriyas. No, that is not true. If that is true, then why did he teach Bhishma? He shouldn't have accepted Bhishma then. He has taught Bhishma. According to Karna, I've gone somewhere, in fact. Okay, anyway, we have come so far. We'll finish this. Okay. According to Karna, he believes himself to be a Kshatriya, but the society is not willing to accept him as Kshatriya. Society is calling him as Sutaputra. Right. Now, when he goes to Parashurama, when Parashurama asks, what should have been the reply given by Karna to him? You should have told the truth, right? Instead of telling the truth, what this fellow says? He says, I am a Brahmin. I am a Brahmana. Parashurama believed it and he accepted him as a student. Teaching was going on, and he is, of course, Karna is an excellent fellow because naturally he had that thing in him, so he could learn faster. He was learning much better. In fact, that is why Drona did not allow Arjuna fight with Karna first time. First time when Karna comes, he says, I challenge Arjuna to fight me. Drona says, no. Why? Why he refuses? Because Drona asks, where did you learn? Karna says, what I learned from Parashurama. Now, Drona knows what all Parashurama will teach. Drona also knows what he has taught, how much he had taught. Right? It is only a demonstration. Right? They have not yet reached the perfection. It's only a demo. They are only demonstrating their skills. That's about it. Now, Drona knows what all Parashurama would have taught him, how much of training he would have gone through under Parashurama. Therefore, he says, what, I can't take a chance. He says, no, because this is the first batch passing out of Drona's school of archery. Now, if the first batch best student is defeated, let's say, what will happen to his school? He has to close down only. First batch itself is failure. Batch means he can't take chances. Therefore, he refuses. He says, no, I can't allow the fight to happen. Now, Karna learns all those things. And one day when Karna was sitting, and there's a story that, Indra came in the form of a bee, pierced through the thigh. And blood started oozing and Karna didn't move. Still. Parashurama saw the warmth blood, He woke up. He saw the blood, he understood what had happened. Parashurama is not worried about who is that worm or who is that bee and where is the bee and all those. That's not his problem. His problem is he looked at his student, Karna. Said, why you didn't move? He said, one dimension of Karnas is superb. What does it say? How can I move when you are sleeping, when you are resting? I can't afford to disturb your sleep. I don't want to disturb your sleep. To which Parashurama said, see, a Brahmin the threshold of a Brahmin's power to withstand physical pain, I know. Also, I know the capacity of a Kshatriya to withstand the physical pain. Same way, a Brahmin's capacity to withstand the mental pain, psychological pain. That's why you go and tell a Brahmin, are you a man? He will say what? I never claimed. He will say and walk out. That is a Brahmin. He will say, oh, no, who told you? I never said I am a Brahmin. This one, he will run away. Whereas you go and tell a Kshatriya, are you a man? You say, how dare you tell me? That's it. You are finished after that. That is a Kshatriya. You see. But to a Brahmin, you go and say, physically you go and even touch that fellow, he will collapse. They can't take that physical pain. Whereas Kshatriyas had that power in them to withstand that, physical pain, torture. They can withstand. You withstood this, therefore, I don't think you are a Brahmin. Tell me the truth. That is the time this fellow says, no, I am not a Brahmin. I am a Kshatriya. And the curse given by, Parashurama is the beauty. He could have cursed in any way, right? Look at the curse of this. The curse is the critical moment when you need this knowledge, the astras and shastras, what I have taught you, you will forget. What is interesting is all other times you will remember. Only problem is what? It's like many students have this problem, Before the exam, they know all the answers. After the exam, they know all the answers. During the exam, only problem. I say all Karna's descendants. And you may be asking, sir, what about you? I don't belong to the category. I belong to a different category. I don't know before, I don't know during, I don't know after also. So I don't have this problem at all. I have never understood what is the problem of these guys. But I remember, one of my friend in college had this. Oh, I've never seen anyone, that much of hard working. Really, he would struggle, work so hard. Very inspiring fellow, Ravi. Amazing guy. He would study a lot, and he would really work. And any clarification I ask him, a day before, I go to his house or he comes to my house, I meet him somewhere, ask him, Nada, what is this? He would explain it so beautifully. In 10 minutes, he will cover the entire chapter. But exam hall, something happens to that fellow, he'll forget. And invariably, he will score exactly as my score only. Or no big difference. He would get so annoyed. Say, what is this, man? Why is it? Karna category. It's a curse, as it were. What is the use of all the knowledge when at a critical moment where you have to use that knowledge, you cannot use it? When you need it the most. So we say wisdom. What do you mean by wisdom, sir? Remember the test of wisdom. How do you know you have got wisdom? Wisdom means what knowledge, what understanding that is useful at the time of death is called wisdom, according to Shankara. All that you have gained so far is not going to come and help you during that time. Therefore, all this is useless. What is going to be useful at the time of death? Now, one question he says, as a test of wisdom, you say, yes, knowledge. I'm putting so much of effort to gain knowledge. Okay. What is the culmination? What is the critical moment of life, sir? The climax of life is what? Death. Will this knowledge come and help you at that moment to face death? I'm not saying, you can avoid death. That is not possible. You can't avoid death. Vedanta never says. That's what we'll see. All the asuras, these rakshasas, when they do tapas, Brahma will come. Standard story. Any Purana you take, standard story they have. What is it, sir? Brahma will appear. This fellow will be there. He will open his eyes. Brahma or Shiva, one of them will come. Because Vishnu will not give any boon. He is very clear. He will not. Whereas this Shiva and Brahma, they give boon. So they come. Now you go, this Brahma comes. The first question they ask, grant me deathlessness. Brahma says, first of all, I myself am going to die. I am also having a lifespan of 100 years only. Right? Now, as of now, the current Brahma is 51 years old. So he has another 49 years to live. He says, there is a chance for me to give you deathlessness, man. I myself going to die. It's not possible. Ask something else. Then they will ask, I don't want to die like this. I don't want to die like that. I don't want to die like this. This way I don't want to die. That way I don't want to die. What all the ways in which I don't want to die? This fellow will say. Then Narada will run. Next scene, always. Narada will go to Narada, Indra, all those fellows will go to Vaikuntha. Oh, this fellow has asked. I cannot die like this, I cannot die like that. I don't like. Very easy, man. If he doesn't want to die like that, he wants to die like this. All that you have to do is what? Reverse the whole thing. Problem solved, says Vishnu. And he comes and just kills those fellows and goes back. Every avatar, this is the job. He will come, kill somebody, go back. He'll come, kill somebody, go back. Or kill couple of fellows and go back. Standard one. Except in that Vamana avatar. Of all Vishnu avatars, one avatar where he did not kill is Vamana avatar. All other avatars, this fellow comes, he'll kill and go. Kill and go, kill and go. Deathlessness is not possible. You have to die. I have to die. There is no option. But these rishis, when they do tapas, what do they ask? They don't ask deathlessness. They always ask birthlessness. Don't give me next birth. I don't want one more birth. That you can ensure. But you can't ensure I don't want it. That is not possible. You have to die. You have to face death one day. Yama, you have to meet him one day. When you meet him, is this knowledge going to help you? Which knowledge will help you to meet that fellow? That is wisdom. Instead of gaining that, you are wasting your time gaining all this non-essential, this worldly wisdoms. Gain that spiritual wisdom is the advice of Shankara. Continuing, verse 2 of Bhajagovindam. The first verse is the chorus. This is the second verse, which is the first verse of that 12 bouquet flowers. 12 flowers. The first flower of this one. From verses number 1 to 12, we have this topic. This 12 verses will come, one bunch. Mooda jahi adama trishna kurusad buddhim manasi vitrishna yella base nija karmopatam vittam tena vinodaya chittam. Mooda jahihi adama trishna kurusad buddhim manasi vitrishna yella base nija karmopatam vittam tena vinodaya chittam. O fool. Again he says, O fool. O fool. Give up the thirst for accumulating wealth. O fool, point number 1, the verse. 2. Give up the thirst for accumulating wealth. Create in your mind the thought of reality instead of thirst. 3. Whatever be the fruit of action gained, content your mind with the wealth obtained. 4. 4 points he gives in this verse. Again he says, fool, says, idiot. See, there are many masters, interpret it so beautifully. The word fool, they cherish it actually. It is true. When a master calls you an idiot, there is a pleasure in it. You should experience it. Those who have not experienced it will not even understand what I'm talking about. To hear that, such an idiot, that fellow. Like in that movie, Pickwick Papers. There's a, Charles Dickens novel, Pickwick Papers. There's Pickwick, the hero. There's an old man, they have a club. Some people who don't like him, conspired something under false accusation, they had put him in jail. He was being jailed. And his servant was there, named Sam. this fellow, suddenly the Pickwick sees Sam also in the jail next day. Sam comes into the jail, into the same jail, and he is, serving the master in the jail. So some of his friends, Pickwick's friends come to meet Pickwick in the jail to meet him, to discuss about the case and all that. So they see Sam sitting there. They say, "What is Sam doing here? Why did Sam got?" Pickwick says, "This idiot got himself arrested to serve me." Deliberately, this fellow goes and gives one whack to the inspector. I say, "You hit a policeman who is in uniform? Well, arrest that fellow, put him in jail." I put in the same jail. So he said, "No, that's exactly what I want." That Sam, this Pickwick, calls him an idiot. Yes, this idiot, got himself arrested. See, when he says idiot, now there is so much of affection in that term. There is no, hatred there. There's not sense of irritation, frustration looking at that fellow. Similarly, when these masters, they say, "Muda," idiots. When they say, it's not a sense of frustration, please. It's that affection. The affection is expressed as fool. Now we wonder, how can affection come out as this? Beautiful word to think. They say fool. Why he says fool, sir? You see, a batsman, Sehwag, playing. 96 is playing. And we have another 15 overs. That one day match. Another 15 overs is there. There's only 2 wickets down. Sehwag in 96. And full form he is. 96, what the fellow does is, he goes for a lofted shot and gets out. Right. Wide outside the off stump ball, he goes for a lofted shot, gets out. When he's walking back or when he gets out, you are sitting and watching the match. What is your reaction? You say, "Well, excellent, very good batting, superb." No, the fellow had scored 96 runs. Still, what do you say? "Stupid fellow, why do you go for a lofted shot now? Why do you come out of the crease, man? You just have to do what? Just tap, no. That's all you have to do. Why do you have to come out and get stumped? Stupid fellow." You curse him. Why do you curse him? It is anger. Of course, you are angry at him. You are irritated with him. You are frustrated with him. You are bad-mouthing that fellow. Why do you do all this? Because you see what he is capable of achieving. Isn't it? What he is capable of achieving, he is throwing away that possibility for something which is so silly, something so ordinary. Whereas Harbhajan Singh gets out like that, you don't bother. He hits, 20 runs and he comes out and he gets out, let's say. You say what? Wow, Superman, super batting. Today Harbhajan Singh batted so well. Why? He scored 20 runs. This fellow scored 96 runs. Harbhajan Singh scored 20 runs is, Zahir Khan scores, 20 runs is extraordinary. Whereas Sehwag scoring 96 runs is getting curses. Why? Remember, we always see the potential of a person. And when you are, kicking off that potential for some silly things, Same way, these masters see the potential in every human. And you have no idea what it is to get to this position of a human being. In another text, Vivek Chodamani, in other texts also, Shankara says, it's very rare to get this opportunity, he says. You see, first of all, it does a beautiful analysis. He says, first of all, to get a human birth itself is something rare. Not easy to get a human birth. Then he says, of the human beings, to get a normal, healthy, more or less healthy body is much more difficult. Amongst those people who are healthy, I mean healthy in the sense of material, physical, emotional, and all these aspects, and to have X amount of intelligence, intellectual ability, your psychological strength, your emotional stability, your physical, no problem. Materially, there is no problem. Without all these things, to take one human birth is not easy. It is even more rare. Then he says, amongst those people who take birth, in fact, he goes even to geographical position. To take birth in this country itself is so difficult. He says, first of all, to take birth in India itself, he says, is so difficult. Very rare. You get that. And then you have this normal birth in this country. Amongst those who have that normalcy, how many have the capacity, how many have that inclination towards higher? How many will have that inclination to at least listen to it? Forget about following and all that. I'm not saying accepting, following and all those things. Just to listen itself is not possible. Very rare. Amongst those people who have that inclination, how many get proper guidance in that? Furthermore difficult. You see that? To take human birth, so rare, and to take birth in this country, even more difficult. Right? And then to take birth is to have normal birth, much more rare it is. Then to have an inclination, more difficult. And then to get a guide, you get all this. You just kick it out for some stupid reason. What else Shankara will call you? You just think, no. If he calls you by any other name, he is not being honest. Of course, when they say that, you have to understand, the Upanishads call the students as Amritasya Putraha. Remember, don't think that always they will be cursing you only. It's not that, please. They call them your sons of immortality. It says, descendants of immortality. It says Amritasya Putraha. It says. So it's not that always they will be cursing you. It's not like that. But when they call, we need to understand what they are trying to say. He is speaking out of what, sir? He is speaking out of recognizing your potential and your opportunity and how close you are to achieving something. All that you have to do is what? Put in little more consistent effort and take that next step. Just follow. That's it. You'll achieve. And you kick it off. It is Buddha. Buddha Jahihi. Fool. Oh, fool. What do you have to do? It says, follow this very carefully. These are all tricky verses. In fact, every verse in Bhajagovindam will be like that. So you people have to get used to this now. Every verse in Bhajagovindam, I will say the same thing. What? It's a very important verse. It's an important verse. I will keep saying. So don't ask me back. Why you are saying that? Every verse is important. Yes. Give up the thirst for accumulating wealth. I told you, Bhajagovindam deals with two things, Kanchana and Kamini. First verse, he addresses this Kanchana, wealth, accumulation, gold, representing wealth, that's all. How much you have that craving, that Krishna, he says. Krishna means the thirst, that craving that you carry, that is called Krishna. The thirst, you have. How you feel, the mouth parched, the thirst, you see. That sort of a thirst is there. For what, sir? For accumulating wealth. He says, give up that, man. Now the problem is, they follow his instructions carefully here. He is not saying give up wealth. Right? That's not what he's saying. Give up wealth is a different exercise. That is a different thing. That's not what the point is. That doesn't mean this is an allowance. That's what we have started doing today. When Shankara said that, our interpreters have started interpreting. He is not saying, he is not against accumulating wealth. Therefore, what you can do? Thank you, Ishwaran. This is exactly what we wanted to justify our accumulation now. Why? Shankara is not against it, no. That's what I say. Now, renunciation, when you people talk, all of us are getting inspired by whose renunciation? Janaka. Everybody wants to be a Janaka. Nobody wants to be a Sudama. Sudama also renunciate, no. Sudama's renunciation nobody wants. All of you want what? Janaka's renunciation, you get inspired. Why? Rich, no. King he is. And you want to be. So all of us believe what? See, after I become Janaka, I will renounce. So first what I have to do, sir? Become Janaka. So first what I have to become? It's like people say, after if I have also become like Bill Gates, I will also give my wealth. But first I have to become Bill Gates, no? So tell me, Ishwaran, first allow me to become Bill Gates first. It will never happen, remember. It is not that. What he is saying is, you are carrying that insatiable thirst for accumulating wealth. I told you, the very first work of Shankara, that's why in the introduction itself I referred this instance. Kanagadhara Stotram. The first thing that we do, and in this country, this is the only country, only culture in the world where we worship wealth. No other culture worships wealth. You will never see an American, stamps over a dollar. He will just take the dollar and fold it and clean it and put it back in his pocket and walk out. If you see an Indian, what he will do, sir? He will take it and touch his eyes. I made a mistake. It's just a paper, no? Similarly, books also. We don't take them as just a book. We treat it as what? Goddess Saraswati. Books were treated as Saraswati here. Wealth is treated as Mahalakshmi. We worship them. So it's not that we are against that place. It's not that, we say, oh, these people are all against. If that is the case, then why did they create goddess for that? They shouldn't have created goddess for this. They say wealth is worshipped in this country. Knowledge is worshipped in this country. Power is worshipped in this country. Everything is worshipped as a divine expression. We are not against that. At the same time, highly criticized also. It's highly criticized. Now, in the same bhajagovindam, later on, he is going to say, artham, anartham, he will say. Wealth is calamitous, he will say there. Now, the fellow who wrote Kanagadhara Stotram, then why did he write Kanagadhara Stotram? If wealth is calamitous, you can't say he changed his opinion now. Earlier it was like this, now it is. No, it's not that, please. And what is it, sir? It's not wealth that problem. The problem is that craving that you carry to acquire wealth. Why, sir? That's where the analysis starts. That's where you got to think now. Why are you accumulating wealth? Why there is this craving for accumulation? That's why in our country, once a year we do this. In South India, we do it during Pongal time. Shankaranti period. Day before Shankaranti is celebrated as Bhogi. Means, they bring out all the things and burn. The things in the house, they bring outside and burn all that. Why? In North India also they do. During Diwali time, few people do. During the Dasara time, few people do. They clean the house. The whole house is cleaned once a year. What are you supposed to do? We are not talking about, disinfection, please. Our fellows have started now, coronavirus now. That is why in India, they were cleaning all this. Those people never bothered about corona. Okay. They never bothered about virus, please. We started connecting everything to physical, but body only now. Their systems were not created for your physical body. Physical body creation is a different domain. These people talk about your mental, your thought. What is happening to your being? What is happening to you at the thought level? What is happening to you at the emotional level? That is their concentration. Not what is happening to you at the physical level. Physical is not their problem. But then they had this practice of cleaning. Why, sir? Burn it. That's why traditionally, when a person dies, in the house, they'll take the body. As soon as the body is taken out, first thing they do in the house is clean the whole house. And very interesting. When they're taking that body, they burn the things that fellow used also. Each one of them, had their own, pillow. They have their own, dress. They have their own things. They destroy everything. Only for what, sir? No traces of existence of such a being. No traces. That's the idea. Not because, virus will be there. Red body, no, there may be some virus. Maybe this is there. Therefore, they thought, what? It's better to burn. Your problem is you can't go beyond body. No, that's not the reason, please. Real reason is what? That being is gone means that jiva left, means after that there is no connection. There is no reference to it. Therefore, they say what? What's the point of holding on to all these things? Burn it, man. Say, clear it. Keep cleaning the houses. Even today, you can go back and check in your house. You will see minimum 15 to 20 items which you have never used for last 8 months to 1 year. Minimum will be there. Then why is it lying? What is it doing there? My aunt had a beautiful explanation for all that. It will be useful one day. I will say anything and everything, she will keep it inside. My atte, had one. She will do that. She'll say, no, let it be there. Let it be there. Let it be there. Let it be there. Whenever, when there is a cleaning happens in the house, if I am around, my mother will not do cleaning. My mother will say, not today, we'll do later. He'll say, when he has gone out, no, at that time you will do. Why? Because the moment they start cleaning, the cupboard will be empty. Because first question I'll ask is, this is the first question I'll ask. When did you use it last time? Use this. That's what I really liked, the philosophy of our, Narayan Murthy, Sudha Murthy, Narayan Murthy, the Infosys. It seems, they told there, I don't know how true it is, Arthur, but the philosophy is super. It doesn't matter who says that, but it's very interesting to see this. They say, we don't care how expensive you are buying. Anytime you want to buy, you buy. But one rule, the rule is, when one new pair of shirt or trouser comes into the cupboard, one pair should be out. At any given point of time, there should be only this many number. Whatever the number, you can fix the number. I'm not saying, the number should be only 3, number should be only 2. You can have 20, you can have 200, you can have 2000, you can have 20,000 also. That's not the point. The point is, do you have a capping? Do you have a capping for accumulating wealth? See, at every point of time, about 20 years back, if I would have asked how much you want, what is the answer you gave? 5 years later, what happened to that? The capping keeps on going up. See, somewhere down the line you retire. Somewhere down the line you stop. Why? Because you have lost your capacity to earn. Because no longer you can be working in the office. The office says what? Retirement time, pack up and leave. Therefore you leave. Otherwise, what do? Otherwise, market has to say pack up. That is why all this, heroines, they pack up quickly. Heroes don't pack up. Heroes are still heroes only. Amitabh Bachchan is acting even today, right, as hero. Now, other people don't get that chance. Why? You don't have a capping. At every period of time, you keep saying what? Little more, little more, little more, little more. That little more goes on and on and on. That is known as Trishna. The craving. I have to gain this. Why this accumulation, sir? Follow me carefully. There is a sense of void you experience inside. There is a pit, empty pit. Inside, everyone experiences that. You feel something is missing in you. You feel that you are somehow incomplete. Something is not there in me. Something should be. I feel something missing in me. I don't feel that I am complete. Now, when I am feeling that sense of incompleteness, I cannot keep quiet. What do I do, sir? I have to fill it up. What do? I go from the world, take something, put it there, and see whether it is getting filled up. It never gets filled up. It's like Shiva's, carried that begging bowl, no? It's like Shiva's begging bowl. Very, very significant. Begging bowl of Shiva. What will happen there? Any amount of grains you put in that, it will consume the whole thing, become empty again. It will consume the whole thing and it will become empty again. Consume the whole thing and become empty again. That is Shiva's. What is it? Significance is what? It is what your mind is. Any amount that you acquire and put inside, you feel what? Sir, all of us claim that, sir, we need necessities, in life. What is it that you call as a necessity? Theoretically, in school, when you are writing exams, they have said, what is a necessity, sir? Food, air, food, water, shelter. This is necessity. If shelter is a necessity, why this fellow has 27 floors, no house? Necessity. You will say what? Not necessity. But he says what? That's a necessity. That's interesting here. You say what? Which is a necessity? Sir, what is a necessity is what? What is? Triple bedroom apartment is a necessity. One for me. Okay, one for me and my wife. And 2 for my daughter. 3 for my guests. What is a necessity? This is a necessity. No. It's a necessity. Now, what is interesting is on what basis you are calling something as your necessity, which you genuinely feel that's a must. Nothing right or wrong about it, please. I'm not saying you should not feel like that. Do you feel it or not? That's all my point is. Point is, one person says having a thatched roof with a mud wall and a thatched roof, he calls it as necessity. Another fellow says what? I need a concrete ceiling and a concrete wall, man. Brick wall and a concrete ceiling is a necessity, he says. Another fellow says what? I need a flooring can be red oxide also, doesn't matter. Another fellow says what? No, it has to be a 4 bedroom with the servant quarters. Has to be there, with the marble, granite, stone, with this, with that is a basic necessity, sir. It's a necessity. Now, what is interesting is on what basis you are claiming each one of us feel something as necessity. No. Today. Now, is it the same thing that you are going to keep as your necessity after 5 years? After 10 years? Changes. No. It's no longer the same. It's no longer the same. The fellow who has no shoes, right? And then he says what? Until I met a man who had no feet. I was complaining that I had no shoes. Until I met a man who had. So for you to do that, somebody should lose their feet. For you to recognize that you have got a feet. You see, this is the tragedy. And each one of us feel very, very basic. You see, genuinely I feel that I need this. It is a must. I feel, yeah, how can I not have it? This is where the problem comes. One group. The danger of wealth, dealing with wealth is, more I will explain as to how do you do on all those things when we go to that verse, Artham Anartham. There we will see more in detail. Right now we are focusing only on that aspect of acquisition dimension of wealth. That's the only facet we are seeing. Other dimensions we are not going to see right now in this verse. We will see that in that verse. Other aspects. Now, why do you have this? Is that because I feel a sense of emptiness, void. I have that. All this, the things that I'm collecting only to fill that emptiness. And tragically, what happens is, I keep on pouring things inside. I keep on pouring. Somewhere down the line, it should get filled up now. Huh? At least someone should have experienced. If not me, somebody in the world should have achieved it. Because everybody is attempting is the same thing. What is it, sir? Filling the pit. But unfortunately, more the things were put inside, more you feel empty. More you accumulate, more you feel empty. Therefore, what you should do? Stop accumulating. That's not a solution. Why? The problem is not with reference to accumulation or non-accumulation. Problem is with reference to what, sir? The thirst, the emptiness that you are experiencing internally. It's like this. When you are feeling thirsty, mouth is parched. There are two things you can do. One, take water and drink. What should happen? Thirsty means dehydration. When you take water, body should get hydrated. But the tragedy is, instead of taking water, what you are taking is Pepsi, Coke, Fanta, Sprite, 7-Up, etc. When you drink that, what happens to the body? When you are taking that, you feel what? You are taking water only actually. When you are taking water, your body is supposed to get hydrated. Unfortunately, the body gets dehydrated faster when you take them. Why is that? That's the problem of this carbonated waters. You take it, this is what science says. When you take this water, what happens, sir? It is water actually, but still there is sugar in that. There's this, but along with that, it has one thing also. What is it, sir? Carbon dioxide is there. When you take that, what happens to the systems? It dehydrates your system faster. Thereby, you will feel thirsty quicker. So what you will do again? Drink another Coke. When you are drinking another Coke, what happens? You feel dehydrated faster. So what you do? Again drink more. This is the sales strategy of those people. That's what I really like this person, you know. That, sorry, I'm forgetting her name. She was asked, you know, isn't it Coke your competitor? She said, who told you Coke is my competitor? No, water is my competitor. I don't compete with Coke. He says, I compete with water. What? Nobody should drink water. People should drink when you are feeling thirsty. What you should do? Drink only Pepsi, he says. Indra Noy, that lady, she says, very interesting, you know, interview. A superb interview of us. I really like that, you know, reply of her. Who said Coke is my competitor? Water is my competitor. Amazing person, you know. Yes. Now, what is it, sir? It is the capacity to, when you feel thirsty, you drink. It should quench your thirst. It should not aggravate it. Now, apply the same rule to your wealth, accumulating tendency. More you accumulate, what is happening to you, sir? More you feel the need to accumulate. More you feel the need to accumulate. More you feel the need to accumulate. More you accumulate, more you feel. Now, are you drinking Pepsi or are you drinking water? That is what Shankara is asking here. Just think, man, when you are dehydration, means you take water, means you should get hydrated. Instead of getting hydrated, you are getting dehydrated faster. Which means something wrong, no? That's all he is saying here. Give up the thirst for accumulating wealth. Then immediately you will be asking the question, how to do that? How to give up the thirst? Ishwaran is asking me to give up the thirst, but how to do that? Next line he gives a solution. What you should do, sir? Two solutions he gives. First, create in your mind the thought of reality. Solution number 1, which is a principle-oriented solution. And he knows we will ask for a practical solution. So immediately he goes and says, he gives a practical solution also. What is a practical? Next line. Whatever be the fruit of action gained, content your mind with that wealth obtained. That's it. Oh, so how do you give up that thirst? Superb solutions. 2 solutions he gives. One, permanent one. Second one, he says, till you achieve that, keep this in mind and keep working. We'll see next class explanation. Thank you.